and welcome back to As If with Lisa Fevral and Bices and
Woo! Du-nu-nu-nu-nu.
we're back.
Report-
We're a little late, but we back.
Reporting live from the United States of America.
Call! We're gonna be talking about an indie movie that is kind of romance, kind of
It was
erotica.
considered erotica.
Yeah, because like there is a lot
Some
of like
drama.
smashing going on.
Yeah. And not in the vanilla way.
You
More in
don't?
the
You think so?
I think it's psychotic. Like
Oh
not
yes.
more like the mentality behind it is actually fucked up. Like
Actually, I
why?
just remember the desert scene, and
Yeah,
I
yeah. That's what I was thinking of.
which I
Like,
forgot
girl,
about the desert scene. Oh, anyway, yeah, I forgot about the desert scene. Sorry, guys. Anyway, it is the name of it is the Last Mistress.
it's literally about a man retelling his 10-year affair, the Spaniard woman.
Mm-hmm.
Women? Huh? Woman. Sorry.
A
Just one.
woman.
Just one, but he is a whore. But
He is a
just one.
whore. He whored around. It's just like
He
she's
did whore
special
around.
or whatever, just because she was someone he kept on coming back to for
2.
10 years. She was basically his wife without being a wife, which is just the
Yeah.
worst thing you could be. Don't ever do that.
Yeah.
Hello? If
Don't
I'm
be
gonna be bothered by a man for that fucking long, I'm
yeah.
getting the house and the divorce.
Yeah, literally don't be a wife on a fucking mistress paycheck. Like
He basically gets to like 30 years old and he wants to marry someone, and he marries this girly girl who, like, I think she was like 16 or 18 or something like that. She's very, very young, very, very innocent type of deal. And that's always gonna piss me off.
yeah,
Those
she's a
bitches could
virgin.
whore around and then they come back with syphilis and they try to like sleep with you. I'm sorry. I don't get no fun, but I'm supposed to be dealing with you?
Literally.
Ew.
Anyways, so it's pretty much him telling telling his story about his 10-year mistress affair
Also, his
to
name is
to this
Rhino. I just have to say that right now because
dumbest fucking name of all time.
it's ridiculous. Who came up
It's
with that?
so dumb. All I could think of was a literal rhino.
I know,
Like
like
that's all I could think
the
of.
first half of the movie, I couldn't get past it because whenever they would say it, I would be like, "Oh my god, his name is fucking Rhino. You can't be serious."
Dude, literally me, like, thinking about rhinos and how they're going extinct with the Sarah McLachlan in my head. In the arms of an angel. Every time they say his name, I'm like, this is
Dude,
really sad.
that's like honestly crazy, but yeah, it's kind of it's a thing. In any case, most of the movie is basically him just like telling stuff about their relationship to the grandmother of that girl that he's marrying. She was like, I need to know about this because first of all, like, oh, it's abnormal that you were, going back to the same mistress for 10 years or whatever. And also because this is the longest relationship you've had, so I want to hear about it to get to know you, right? Which is like to want to hear all that, but at the same time, like, her comments were also crazy as hell. And after hearing all that, she was like, yeah, I'm so glad that I asked you this, and I'm so glad that you told me all this nasty ass shit. Because I'm like,
She was like, she was like, keep going.
yeah, keep going. And also,
Grandma,
I loved
Mima.
hearing this, Mima. But he's like all over the place, and doing all that while you're not bringing anything into the marriage is already like a lot.
Yeah, we gotta paint the picture. Okay, first of all, the rhino is literally, they describe him as a penniless Magellan type character. Columbus, Captain Cook shit, but $0. So he has literally nothing on the table. Like,
Yeah,
he has nothing to give besides the fact that he
herpes.
maybe herpes. The less serious of the plethora of diseases he probably has. Yeah. And then the mistress, his mistress of 10 years, is a rich Spaniard woman named Vini. She is literally Satan's spawn.
And
The
she's
devil.
played by Asia Argento.
Yeah, Argento. You might know her as Anthony Bourdain's ex-girlfriend. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
She's like, what do you call it? Kind of pigeonholed her whole
Mm,
career to
mm.
play those kinds of roles. And I have to admit, she does a good job. Like, she literally has the voice of, like, what I would imagine Satan would sound like if he were whispering in my ear.
It's
Like,
kind of so funny. Like she sounds like she's been like smoking for 30 years.
yeah, but she's like, no, it sounds like she's been smoking for 100 years, but she's 38. Like,
Yeah,
how is that possible? You
girl.
know?
It's
You
like
just have to listen to it.
their relationship starts with him talking to this guy outside of some cafe or whatever the fuck, and his friend is telling him that he needs to meet this girl, Villini or whatever, and he's like, "Oh, why would I meet her?" And he's like, "Oh, she's like the best, whatever." He's basically telling him that she's like the hottest or whatever the fuck, right? Now,
Yeah, like telling her that she's like this. They're just like pretty much fetishizing her, being like, oh, she's like this exotic, wild woman.
yeah,
She's
because
like
she's Spanish
French. Yeah,
and they're Frenchies, and like
yeah,
God knows. Anyway, I mean, she is wild. Like they
I mean,
didn't lie there, but it's
yeah,
just at that point he didn't know it, so they were just kind of assuming or whatever the fuck, right? Especially he didn't know the extent of it. That friend who was telling him about it. And then Villini is like stopped. She stopped in a carriage outside of that cafe too, and she's eating some ice cream or whatever in a really weird, childish way, as if she's like not 37 years old or 38 years old, whatever. Like she's literally just eating the like.
yeah. Literally.
Like I don't know. It was like it really took me by surprise. I was just like sitting there like,
It was very unappetizing. I'll say that.
yeah, it was unappetizing. It wasn't hot. It wasn't scary. It was just like childish, as if she's like 4 years old eating an ice cream cone for the first time. That was really weird to witness. She hears him say that guy, um, that oh she's here, whatever, whatever, right? So Rhino looks at her and he's like, tells his friend like she ain't hot at all. Like I don't know what you're talking about.
He literally is like, oh, that mutt.
Oh my god, I forgot that he used the word mutt. Yes. He
Yeah,
said
so
mutt.
disgusting.
It was gross. Then, especially it's like, bitch, not you talking. Like, shut the fuck up.
You're
Like,
literally penniless, bitch.
you were penniless. What, like Magellan? No.
Yeah,
What?
he's trying to be Magellan. He discovered
Magellan.
nothing. Dude, like I wanted her to run him over with her fucking carriage at that point.
Me too.
Because he was like, oh, that mutt, and then he put like this like seductive smile on him. Like, I want to beat this guy.
I don't know if it was
He's-
seductive. I think it was like kind of condescending and gross. Like it was slimy.
Oh, I thought it was like he was like trying to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get you.
Oh. No, I thought he
Yeah.
was being like, she's beneath me kind of thing. I think that he didn't like her at first. And then they went to a party and he saw her there. Yeah, dressed as a she-devil. And what did they talk about that he changed his mind? There was like a moment he was like, oh, I get it now. And he told his friend, I get it now. There was like a really weird moment where she was like being basically like a pick me. I hate when women do this or whatever the fuck. Like she
Yeah.
was saying something like nasty about women and I was
Pretty
like,
much, she's pretty much like a guy's girl type of beat,
yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But she's also just like, wait,
She
I
killed
wanna
that
do-
moment for me. In a sense, not killed that moment, but she killed her momentum for me there. I was like, girl,
Yeah,
the
she-
fuck?
Agree with that. That actually turned me off so much. Literally, freaking made me drier than the Sahara Desert. Like,
And we'll get to the desert. you guys.
yeah, he was just like, oh yeah, she's different. She's not like other girls, literally. And like, all
And you know
she
what? At
did-
that point, I was like, I don't see it.
Me
At
too.
that point, I was like, she's, she's just got character, I guess. Like, she just got a weird personality, but it's like, there's a lot of people who have a funky personality. A lot of us are just, like, mentally ill, too. Like, it's not that hard to
Yeah.
come by. And, and, like, and basically he, like, starts, like, following her around, being like, do come here often, Kind of bothering her at a party. She... She leaves him like standing there and goes to her husband. Her husband is ancient, like 80 years old or some
Like
shit.
he is like he's about to be in the crypt type shit.
Yeah, like he's there. He's there. He's just like having his like little drink for the road, you know, before
Yeah.
like
He's like got 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
basically. And like it's so weird. She's just like sitting there like looking at a rhino being like, but also I hate you. You know, that kind of thing. And then they get on a fucking horse. Wait, no, that's a different day. They they see each other while they're riding horses, okay? So she's passing by him and he's like, "Hello, I'm here
Like
again."
he wait, we gotta preface that he after that dinner party he like becomes obsessed with her and is like,
Yes.
I'm gonna find out where the fuck you are.
Yeah.
And he goes to the path that she does. She does, what the hell? She goes horseback riding in to bump into her on purpose.
Yeah, and he
this
keeps on
whole
going
thing
there
takes,
until
like,
he actually bumps into her. So he's like pursuing her against her fucking will, okay? Like this is where we are at this point. Now, they bump into each other on horses, so they're horse bump into each other. He's like, "Oh my gosh, like go out with me, whatever." And she's like, "First of all, I'm married. My husband is going to see you right now and he's going to deal with you. And second of
like,
all, I hate you."
pass. Yeah.
She was like, "I genuinely hate you. Can't stand your stupid ass, you know?" And he's like, "Well, why? Let's talk. Let's talk a little more." And she's like, "No." And then he forcefully kisses her. That was gross. Her
Yeah,
husband
like,
sees it and he's like, "Okay, we're shooting each other tomorrow."
yeah, we're gonna have a duel.
Yes, a duel, not shooting each other in the morning. So they like meet in the morning.
Wait, and that was the funniest fucking scene. Because he was like, what time? Anytime. And the old man was like 6 a.m. and he was like fucking so disappointed by that.
Yeah, he was like, "Not 6 a.m.,
Yeah,
bitch. Like I'm not even. I didn't even go to bed yet at that." He's like such a he's just like bumping that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He's listening to Charlie XCX on his horse.
Literally.
In any case, so they like see each other at 6 a.m., whatever. And it's so crazy because you genuinely look at that guy, that old ass guy that we told you about, and you think, "Oh, he's gonna kill him. That's so sad," right?
Mm-hmm.
Bitch shoots the young one, Rhino. He shoots and he misses, which is just funny as hell.
Like he misses on purpose.
I don't think
He, like,
so.
No, he does, Lisa. I'm sure. He shoots it up in the air because he wants to, like, he's not going to shoot him. He wants to get shot by the old man to prove that he would die for the girl. Look, go watch the clip.
Oh my god.
It's actually so fucking stupid. I'm like, bruh, you could have gotten everything you want. Just kill him.
Honest, yeah, first of all. Second of all, like, whatever. I trust you. I believe you. Whatever. I'm not looking it up and watching it again. No. Yeah, so the old guy shoots him, hits him in the chest. And this is where it gets fucking weird, okay? Because at this point, we've just got slightly weird people. Well, not slightly weird, but just like kind of obnoxious people dealing with each other, whatever, right? But then at this moment where he gets shot and we see him being taken care of by some kind of doctor, we see Vini for some reason there. First of all, why was she there?
She was like spying on him to see if he would die or not.
True.
She was like obsessed with watching whether or not he would die or live.
Yeah, true. But I don't know how she got in there. Honestly, like...
It was at her house for some reason. I think it's like it must be some kind of tradition thing that like, you know, they're having this like...
Oh!
This like, now that's very like cordial.
Yeah,
So
okay.
they like took care of him. After he was shot.
Okay. Fair enough. And then she does the unthinkable. Something that actually put her from like, okay, she's just like freaky a little, you know, to category of, oh.
The category of Army Hammer. You a cannibal.
Yeah, so she runs towards him, jumps his bones, and licks his wound, licks the blood.
She literally jumps on him, pushes the doctor away, and is like, I want to suck his blood.
I want to suck his titty. Like she's literally doing that.
And the doctor was like, bitch, you're gonna give him an infection.
Yeah. She was like, is he gonna leave? Is he gonna live or die? And the doctor's like, he's gonna be fine, but I guess now it's gonna be harder to like get him to, to
Yeah,
survive because you
because you
fucking
fucking risked
licked him with your dirty ass mouth.
his mouth.
Like, what are you
That was actually the
doing?
funniest part of the movie.
That
That
was
was actually
honestly the
so
doctor being the sanest person there is in the entire
I
movie.
know.
Him just being like, why'd you do that?
And the doctor is never the most sane character in movies.
Yeah, they're usually like
So
the
that's saying
freaks.
something.
So it is saying something. It was kind of crazy because it felt like it was a doctor from our times. Just like he got fucking kicked into the 19th century, and he's like, "What the fuck is going on? These bitches don't know you need to wash your hands. They still don't wash their ass. Like, what am I doing here?" Anyway, she's licking things she's not supposed to. Oh my god. Anyway, so he
She making
survives,
one
but
too
the
many.
stupidest thing is that he was like, I was living my life like a man who would do anything a doctor would say just to pull through. And it's like, okay. He gave him chicken blood to drink. Couldn't give him an egg to get his protein? Needed to give him the blood? Seriously.
Dude,
We don't
it's
have
just like,
enough syphilises and fucking hemorrhoids and stuff like that. We need to add another thing.
right. Dude, that's just actually crazy. It actually boggles my mind that back in the day, they were just like, oh, you lose something out of body? Okay, put more in body. Like,
Yeah, or like, you sick? Let me actually poke you and get your blood out of your system.
yeah.
Oh. Oh, you want to drain me of blood while my body is fighting a disease? Are you crazy?
Yeah, and
You know
also,
what you're missing? Less white blood cells.
what is making him drink chicken blood gonna do?
That genuinely makes no sense, honestly. Like, I've been trying to, like, figure out what the fuck they would even, like, think.
They literally think that them feeding him chicken blood will compensate for the blood that he
I
lost.
think so. So he lives, and they start having, like, monkey sex, basically. Like, they're just...
They admit to each other like, yeah, we love each other now, and then they start banging left and right.
Yeah. Left and right.
Sideways,
Sideways,
upways,
zigzag.
backways,
Yeah, there was actually a couple...
diagonally.
There was actually a couple of scenes, like their sex scenes, where maybe not a couple, maybe one. You know what? I'm actually thinking about a very specific one where I was just sitting there like, is that necessary? Like, do you have to do it like that? But anyway, he is telling this story. It's 10 years in the past or whatever, right? Then they start seeing each other. They're like in love, whatever. She gets really pissed off by her husband. Like, she's like, I cannot handle him touching me anymore. Like, I get pissed. Like, he touches me and I want to dock him in the mouth. And you know what? Sometimes I think maybe you should have done that instead of going in the fucking desert in Algeria. Like, maybe.
It doesn't even feel satisfying though when she does that because she still ends up with this fucking rank ass man. She breaks up with her husband because she's like, yeah, I'm in love with this man. I don't want to be with you anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like in agony because he like really loves her.
Yeah.
She like accidentally pushes him and he falls to the ground. Honestly, that's kind of the saddest part of the movie.
Oh my god, I missed that. I think I went to the bathroom. Did I miss that?
Yeah, you did miss it. That was actually the saddest part of the movie because I'm like, damn, the old man actually, like, he actually loved you, girl. You're kind of sad. Not that I recommend you should not be dating an old ass ugly man, okay?
No.
Lady. But what I'm saying is, it would have been badass, right? If she's like, yeah, fuck you, I don't need a man. But she was like, fuck you, I'm gonna end up with an even worse man. Like,
And not even married.
yeah.
Which is like, okay, so like, what are we doing here then? This is not
Yeah,
the
he
like,
doesn't even-
you can't have anything in life at that point without having like at least one man who can handle affairs or whatever the fuck, because no one's gonna let you handle affairs unless he dies. Which I mean, like, you could have done that. I don't know. Just wait.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, she could have done something smarter, like, you know, put some fucking...
But she's a dumb bitch, honestly. What are we expecting
Yeah.
here? Like, I don't know. In any case, she basically like she pushed him. She was like, I don't want you no more or whatever, right? And then
Yeah, he like accidentally tumbles.
okay. That's sad.
From her.
And then they go to Algeria because of like societal shunning or something like that. No, why
Yeah,
did they go?
they just wanted to elope together
Okay.
because like everybody had heard like, oh my god, Vellini broke up with so and so to be with Rhino, like, and then they were like, oh fuck, let's just fucking get out of
Okay.
here
Okay.
and
Okay.
be
Fair
in
enough.
love. So they
Uh,
moved to the most obscure place in the world.
for a French person, why are you in Algeria? Like,
But
why
like
did you
not even
go?
like they literally moved to the middle of butt fuck nowhere. Like
The
in the
desert.
desert.
Yeah.
Like one house. They
Also,
really
like,
had to like
where would that even be? I'm a little skeptical about this because, like, how
yeah,
would
I'm
two
pretty
French people get there? Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like when people are colonizers, they go to like cities or they go somewhere where there's like at least some other people in the area.
no, but they always love to primitivize fuck it, I can't speak. Primitivize places.
In movies, you
They
mean?
yeah, in movies that they
Yeah.
colonize.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, there's no way that you are the only house.
Yeah, they're making it they made it look as if they were in this barren land, you know, like as if
Yeah.
it's like a free for all basically. There's no one living there. And I'm pretty sure Algeria had people. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure. I'm pretty sure they had
Pretty
population
sure.
there, but they like the way that they basically like framed it, you know, the this little hut in the middle of a fucking desert. Why were you there? You don't have any skills or anything. Like, nothing about living in that environment is innate to you.
Yeah.
Not only are you a foreigner, but you're a rich, useless foreigner. You don't even know how to survive in your own country, in your own climate, let alone somewhere where it's like so drastically different. What are you doing there? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just dumb. It's at least when people who are like working class were moving somewhere or whatever, they were going from, for example, working at mills or something like that to other hard labor somewhere else.
Yeah.
These are just two motherfuckers who know only how to smoke cigars and drink champagne. They don't know anything else. They genuinely are useless in any other
Yeah. All they know
regard.
how to do is drink, gamble, smoke, and fuck zigzag style.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you why I thought it was so fucking weird. And I mean it. I mean it zigzag. Because I think it is like, what else are you gonna call it?
This is what I'll say. I just feel like they love, and maybe this is like a movie. I feel like this is like, honestly, I'm gonna just make shit up. I think this is facts, though. To be honest,
They're actually trying to not even romanticize like primitive spaces. They're trying to primitivize spaces that already exist to make
yeah,
them look like no one exists there. As if it's not like,
yeah, or like to like be like, oh my god, these cultured people gave up so much
yeah.
for their love. You know, it's like, bitch, you were stupid back in France, and you're stupid here.
And then they have a kid. And they had a kid
Yes.
in Algeria, right?
Yeah, they had a kid. Like they had been at this point, it's like a time jump, and they've been together for a while, and they have
The
a
kid is
child.
like, and I come back from the bathroom at that point.
Yeah,
And I'm very confused because I left when she was with her old husband. I come back, they're in a desert, dressed in desert clothes. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Came back during the most pinnacle transition, so it was like really hard for me to explain.
I come back, I'm so confused.
Yeah,
And
how
my
they
sister
were
is like,
crying.
bitch, I can't even explain it to you without being rude as fuck in this room. Just like, because you would have to blab for like 15 minutes to explain this 2 minutes that I missed.
Yeah, because it's like the last scene you saw was old grandpa crying on the ground, and then the
No,
next
it was
scene,
before. It was when he came into the room and she was like, "You're always on time when it's fucking time." And that was all. That was the last thing I saw.
getting so mad at his punctuality, you dumb bitch.
When you're done with a guy and you're like, you know that this is it.
Like you'll just nitpick
Everything pisses you off. You're like,
Yeah.
you're breathing.
Yeah.
How dare you breathe?
How dare you breathe? I can hear you breathing. I can hear your fucking heart pound when I'm
Yeah.
sleeping beside you. Stop it. AKA die.
Anyway, so I come back and they have a kid and the kid is not small, okay? The kid is like size wise 5 years old or something like that.
She's
5 to 7.
like, yeah, she looks old as shit.
Yeah, like she looks like a that's a kid. That's not a baby. That's not a child. That's a kid. That's someone who should know how to read. You know, maybe not back then, but sure, in our times, you know. Anyway.
Yeah.
And I come back and she's crying over her. And I can't even see the face. It's just like a bunch of like, she's basically mummified. That's what she like looks like just like a bunch of clothes on her, and you don't really see her face. And Vini is like crying over her because, and I assume from that she died because Vini is crying and the guy, the Rhino, is sitting by the door being like, you know,
she's rotting.
Because she's rotting. Like, yeah, because I assume Vini didn't want to bury her or didn't want to like let her go or whatever. What else did I miss before then? Like,
you missed how she died. So essentially the little girl was just playing and she got stung by a scorpion, and that's how she died.
Why were they in the middle of a desert? No one around.
Literally.
Like, what was the point?
That was the only thing I was thinking of the whole time.
Like, okay, you're in Algeria. Do you have to be in the middle of a desert? Go to a city.
Like, no, and it's like, girl, you're so fucking rich. The whole point is that you're so fucking rich.
Yeah.
Girl, go back to Spain. Huh?
Honestly, yeah, you're right. Okay, you know what? Society is very interconnected between, like, those European countries, whatever. Even if you wanted to go to Algeria, whatever, like, go to a city. Why are you going to, like, in the middle of a desert? You're not... Oh my god, whatever.
You're not equipped.
You're not equipped. You're not equipped anyway. But it's like so stupid. It's like literally one room. It's a hut. Like straight up. The worst part is coming. If you thought this was bad, wait for it. Anyway, I was horrified. That was like absolutely... It made me feel so disgusted on so many different levels. Like culturally, spiritually, just... personally, emotionally, like it was just too much. I was just like, I can't. Basically, she agrees to bury her, but you can't really bury her in the sand.
She was like, what happened was he was like, Vini, we can't live like this. We have to bury her. And she got so mad at that suggestion. She was like, no, we're gonna burn her in a pit of fire.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that in the desert you don't bury people, I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's just what he suggested, and she just like got disgusted by that. She like wanted to burn her.
Yeah, I think that she doesn't even know whether that's what it is. I don't think that she was actually suggesting it because she was like, you don't do that in the desert. It was more like, I want to burn her. And it's like, oh my god.
She's fucking
like the way that she said it was like literally, I don't know, that bitch is crazy. Like since she licked his fucking blood, I was like, oh, okay.
And Rhino is a typical man.
He's like...
who can't make decisions.
Yeah, he's literally like, he will agree to anything as long as he wants to fuck you. Like, you could literally tell him to do the most heinous crimes and he would be like, yeah. And then as soon as he doesn't want to sleep with you anymore, like he gets bored or something, he immediately wouldn't even fucking lift a finger. Even if you're married, even if you have kids together, it doesn't give a fuck, you know? Like, the most brain dead behavior you could imagine. And they make a fire. A fire is bigger than their hut. I don't know how they managed to do that in the fucking desert. How?
Yeah, where did they get... That's the real question of the movie. Where the fuck did they get the firewood?
Because the only way I would understand this is if they actually set the hut on fire. That's the only way there would be this big of a fire in the middle of a desert where they don't have shit but that fucking hut.
But I'm sorry, where did they get the firewood?
That's what I'm saying.
The question still stands.
It was nowhere. Like, where would you even get it? Oh my god, I don't know. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. And then the worst part, oh my god.
Do you want me to say it?
Yes.
While their child is burning a crisp in the giant fire they made, they are fucking right by it in the middle of the desert, butt fuck naked. And she's like literally fucking him, but also
she's
like
riding him. Yeah. And like the angle is like this, like pointing at her, up at her, and she's like crying and fucking him. Like she would like write him a little cry. And it's just, what is happening?
In front of the daughter's burning burning body.
Like right
And
next to the
that,
fire, you guys. Right next
yeah,
to the fire.
that, and like, they're like, me and Lisa aren't fucking like rude to these things or like, oh my god, I can't see like nakedness on a movie. Like, but this was like weird shit.
It
Like,
wasn't, honestly, it was like, yeah, it wasn't. Dude, we saw them do a lot already. You know, there was a lot
yeah,
of sex scenes already, and those
yeah.
were like just like normal. Like they were just like there was at least 3 or 4 by that point, and they were all
And
just
it's like
like,
not normal. It's not normal for the if you're in Canada or the US. Like that would be X-rated at this point. But like
oh
for a
yes,
French film,
yes, for a
like
French film, yeah,
it's just like whatever, you know? Like
yeah.
we were seeing some raunchy ass shit.
By
But
normal, I just
this,
mean like it was just like normal sex scenes. Like they weren't
yeah, but
crazy. There wasn't anything crazy going on. They weren't like, I don't know, sacrificing someone or whatever the
yeah.
hell.
I think even so, like those sex scenes were like more graphic in terms of like
They were.
actually having sex.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it was so disturbing.
It was
This
just
scene was disturbing as fuck.
I was just like sitting there like I don't think I get it. I don't think I get it at all because the thing is like I understand that there's like a lot of films that are showing this type of shit. I've seen films that are quite graphic that are showing things or whatever that I usually they're like horror related most of the time whenever they're like that dramatic, you know. But something about their daughter burning your not even something about it. You guys get it. I know that all of you are like horrified by this as well right now.
The part that gets me too after that, at first me and Lisa were giggling because the shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
The first half of the movie, but then this desert, this fucking literally fucking desert scene, was truly like it changed the trajectory of the movie for me personally because after that, and they even explicitly say it in the movie, probably in a better, not in a better way, but a more like eloquent way, started recreating this moment like through sex. They say it in the movie. Rhino says in the movie. I don't know if you remember this, Lisa,
Oh,
where he's like they pretty much keep reliving having sex in the desert as a way to like get over their grief. So it like they would just recreate it, and it would like their whole relationship just became sex essentially. And
as far as
nothing
I know,
else.
like also he said that like they basically didn't like each other anymore. They didn't love each other anymore. It was kind of
Yeah,
like
like
that point where they would only do that, and then all the other time they would be mad at each other and like
yeah,
have
because they would like
fights.
yeah,
Yeah,
like Vellini would kind of resent him.
and he would resent her too.
Resent
He was
her.
saying that he was
Yeah.
resenting her too, and it's kind of like that was a point in the movie where I was like, this is so strange because honestly, when you finish the entire movie, you're like, that was such a tonal shift.
Mm-hmm.
Like Algeria was like a completely different movie for a bit. It feels
Yeah.
like, and then we were back to this silly ass bullshit where he like gets married to that 16-year-old. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like and her name is Hermengard. Huh?
it's like that's too much, honestly. You know, there's like a particular flavor in modern literature that I noticed about Japanese and American literature that specifically has a very specific flavor of writing about like intimacy
Mhm.
and especially sexual intimacy. And I really don't fuck with it at all. I feel like I'm just like not getting because the thing is I feel like whenever I mention it, I get like a lot of people, either people who agree with me who are very puritanical, who I'm like, no, like I don't mind conversations about sex. I just don't like the way that they write about it. It like makes me feel very grossed out. And
Yeah.
it's not just transactional or something. It's like weirdly makes you feel like you're like at a butcher's place and you're just like looking at pieces of gross ass meat instead of like it being an act that is
Yeah.
like done between people that have a brain or have a
Yeah.
cognitive kind of capacity.
Just feels like appendages.
It feels like appendages. It feels like, you know, like when you watch a movie and there's a sex scene and they do like really high key lighting where you can see every pore on someone's body and you're like, oh my God, at this point, I'm literally looking just at slabs of meat.
Yeah, like a bio textbook. I
Bio
hate that.
textbook. And that's how I feel
Grotesque.
about not even a textbook. It feels like a lab, you know, like when you're cutting, whatever. Like it feels very grotesque and weird. And it would make sense in movies or whatever, like where you're, for example, showing somebody who's like a serial killer or something like that, you know, like, or even when you're talking about someone who's a mortician or whatever the fuck. I just don't get why these acts that are literally done in such a disrespectful way. To me, it's just, I'm maybe I'm again, I don't want to project this on everybody, and I know that a lot of people are like, no, it's not a cultural thing, whatever. But I also don't want to be telling people how to feel about this and be like, this is like disgusting for all of us. I just want to say that, like, to me, I feel like I'm just not connecting with that type of stuff ever, to the point where it actually ruins pieces of media for me, or pieces of literature and stuff like that, to the point where I never go back to them, because I'm like this character, the character of Vini, for example, like, I cannot imagine trying to say that this sexual act in front of your child's burial place, basically, is in any way not only normal but acceptable by any metric.
I feel like, yeah, I totally agree. Whatever tickles your fancy, don't really care. Like, I'm not judging anybody for, like, what they find to be realistic about love or sex scenes and whatever. Like, I don't care, really. But this, for me, was just, like, crossing some kind of line where it's, like, I can't, it's not even, like, appendages at that point. It's not even slabs of meat at that point. It's just, like, so wrong.
Yeah. And the
Like,
thing
I
is,
don't,
like, I understand that they're supposed to be crazy characters. I understand that, like, it's not like later we don't see him coming to Villini to just talk and she doesn't cut his cheek just because she's bored. Like, she
yeah,
does. She pulls out a knife and she cuts his face because she's like, oh, I'm bored. Like,
yeah.
they're crazy. Straight up. I can't imagine picking up, like, a Dostoevsky or Tolstoy book or any other author from that era. I don't know about contemporary writers in anywhere in Slavic countries. Honestly, haven't read anything contemporary from there, but it's just like really strange to me to imagine reading something like that and then getting to a point where it's like this type of scene is written,
Yeah.
especially about the main characters. You know what? There's a lot of disturbing scenes in like Dostoevsky's shit where he's really real about a lot of things. Like in Brothers Karamazov, he literally says, like, tells you, well, I mean, not him, but like I guess the narrator or whatever, tells you about this guy who was born to this woman who was kind of like mentally challenged in some kind of capacity. Like, they don't really
Yeah.
have the same terminology for stuff back then, so I don't know what exact condition she had. She was homeless and she was in a very dire situation, so she wasn't like comprehending what the fuck was going on. And she gets, like, it's rumored that she got essayed by the father of the Karamazov brothers,
Oh God.
and that her son, she gave birth to him in like a random backyard of someone in the middle of the night and died from it or whatever. And she got like essayed when she like was she fell asleep somewhere or something like that.
Oh,
It's basically really disturbing, right? But that's kind of the point.
yeah.
Here I'm supposed to follow these characters for another hour. Do you know what I mean? And they're
Yeah,
not
yeah, I
positioned
totally,
as like crazy motherfuckers, you know? Like in
yeah,
this case, their father gets murdered. And the reason
yeah,
why there's so much commotion and why everyone is blaming everybody is because he had so many enemies, so many people who had it out for him, you know?
yeah, I totally see what you're trying to say. Like in this, in Dostoevsky's book, he's like, yeah, this guy is fucked up. The situation is fucked up, and karma's coming for him in a sense. Like he reaches like a fair demise, but like in this movie, they don't really pose it that way. It's that you want them to have like somewhat of a decent ending
You
because they're the
know,
main characters. Like,
because technically speaking, we could like want a bad ending for them, right? But I think
yeah,
that the difference is not even that, because I don't think that Dostoevsky ever really gives you like a moral kind of thing, you know, like he didn't say that
yeah,
he's a bad person or a good person, but you just kind of infer it, but also you're not forced to actually follow him as a protagonist. And I think that what kind of
right,
like changes it, right? And it's the same thing with like, if I'm following a horrible person as a protagonist, I think I would wanna see a little bit more consistency, like consistency
Hmm.
even in terms of, like, for example, inconsistency. Like this movie, they go first half pretty normal with some freak shit, like, yeah, we're being normal freak shit, just like sprinkled a little bit here and there, right?
Yeah.
Then we get the Algeria portion that's just disturbing, to be fucking honest, and not because it's trauma for them, but because their reaction to that trauma is genuinely mortifying. And
Hmm.
then the last part where they go back to that same tone as in the beginning. You don't
Yeah.
feel like it's there's gravity to that thing that happened to
Algeria.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
That gravity basically broke them up, but they were never serious people that ever stayed in any relationships, that ever were loyal to anybody. They weren't
Yeah.
the type of people where there would be such a big difference between them being really loyal and pure and like just like, being very naive, and then this happens to them and they become who they are today. It didn't happen like that. They were shitheads before and they were shitheads after, and I can't bring myself to give a damn about them.
Yeah. I agree. Like you just don't care for either of them
Yeah.
in the whole and I don't know if that was the point, but like because like I've watched a ton of movies where it's like the point of it is that no characters at all is like the moral truth or like a high or in a higher moral standard than anyone else. Like, it's just like very neutral. I
Mhm.
feel like Dostoevsky does that well, but this one is just like you don't see the humanity in any of them. It's just like you can't connect with them in any way. Like
I would
you're
say
just
there's
like
like different standing of morality, but in this case, it feels like they don't have any. It's not like they have
yeah,
like a negative or positive, like,
they
or
just
they have a
don't have shit.
philosophy or anything. It feels like they don't have, like, it's just like very random.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like,
totally.
are you guys okay? So, like, okay, let's assume you're like mentally ill, and that's why it's like all over the place, right? Especially with Villini, because she does have like that vibe of being mentally ill. Um, I don't know, you guys. I think that I'm kind of like I'm missing some kind of context. I feel like if I would be in an art class, there would be someone who would say, "Oh, it's just with the writers like Dostoevsky, he's good at writing all characters without telling you who's good and who's bad. You're gonna kind of
Mhm.
determine it for yourself, and that there's definitely gonna be people who are gonna have different opinions than you, who are literally gonna have a
Yeah,
different ranking of who is bad and who's good or whatever. But there's going to be someone to compare them to. In this regard, it felt like I was watching a bunch of people who have either no brains.
yeah. I would say it's no brains more than anything.
That's what it felt like. It's kind of like it feels like there's no brain activity when it comes to the grandma, when it comes to the
No
newly
brain
weds.
activity is crazy.
I just mean, it's just really confusing. Do you know what I mean? And I think that I know for a fact, I remembered. Oh my God, I remembered what I was talking about. I remember that we had that whole class about how like sex and death are so intertwined, whatever, whatever. And like, I actually think that there is a lot of truth to it. Like, I actually do see the point that people were trying to make, and why there's so much interconnection between the two. It is all connected to like the cycle of life, and it's also connected to like even the terminology of the little death and whatever, right? Like, it's
Mhm.
all connected. However, when people are having, like, in fiction, in media, whatever, when they're having sex on like a tomb or something like that, right? It's like, yeah, it's disrespectful, whatever, but it's like not mortifying in its disrespectfulness, because it's someone who's dead and been dead forever, and you can actually start, at least there's gray area, you can like start talking about what it means, can depend on the situation and whatever, right? Like, I'm not telling you to go and have sex on the tomb, but I'm just saying that there are different types of like context, I guess. Like, for example, the most recent one that I remember in like contemporary stuff is the Astarian thing. Like, you literally, as the person who's like playing the game, if you romance him and he goes into the good ending of the story or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
he literally has sex with you on his tomb. Okay, weird, but also like there is like at least metaphorical connections to like restarting his life because he decided to restart his life or whatever after he's been a slave for so many years, whatever, right? Like at least I understand what's going on there. But with this situation,
Fucking hell. I'm no. Okay, sorry.
but with this situation, I'm just sitting there like it's kind of like showing up to a funeral of your family member and just starting fucking in the middle of the church.
Yeah, I totally agree. Even in any context, to be honest, like, even if it was like that Asterian thing and they are like fucking on top of a tombstone, fucking on top of a tombstone of your child would still be fucked up.
Right. Because for him, for example, it was his tomb.
Yeah.
Literally, like he was buried there.
If it was like, oh yeah, we're fucking on the tomb of my ex-lover, that would make more sense to me.
Yeah.
At least like I could like.
Is it disrespectful? Sure.
Yeah, but at least I could like.
But it's conceptually sound.
Yeah.
Like it's something you can understand at least in terms of like not being like I get it, but more like oh okay,
like what
twisted thing to think, but it makes sense that someone who is a little twisted would think that.
Yeah.
Here, there's no connection.
Even if there is one, I refuse to accept it.
Yeah. Because the thing is, I'm
it's not for me.
Genuinely, if you are, especially if you're French and you're more familiar with the, the writers, the directors that we are, especially the director that we are like talking about today, or if you're just more familiar with the cultural or art background that could kind of inform the decision of this director to include this and kind of like make it like this, I want to know what you think about it because personally, even if the explanation exists, it wouldn't work for me because to me it is absolutely barbaric and like no offense.
Yeah, we're not saying we're the moral judgment of things.
Yes,
this is just
that's what I want to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just our take on it. Like, I'm not going to tell you what to think about it. I'm just saying that personally, I felt like I couldn't wrap my head around it, and I don't think I ever will. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, we're just sitting there like, and I'm supposed to watch another hour of these people and like give a fuck.
I know. Yeah, that was the point. Is that am I supposed to give a fuck? Because right now, I'm down for both of them to die.
Yeah, and the worst thing is that like afterwards when they come back and like there's like a bunch of shit going on, being like, oh my god, I met somebody else and she was not happy about that, yada yada yada, and I kept on coming back to her, yada yada yada. Then he marries this girl. They moved to a far away castle type deal house, whatever.
Yeah.
It's on the shore, wherever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, like they pretty much moved to like a secluded island life type beat.
Yeah. The grandma is like with them for a bit. He's being such a little nasty too. Like the grandma is sleeping in the living room and her granddaughter is sitting in front of her doing something crafts related or whatever the fuck, right? Embroidering. And he comes back home and he's like, first of all, it's so fucking funny that he's like walking around being all like man of the house when it's like not his money. It's so crazy.
Yeah, like, babes, you contribute nothing, you fucker. Like, where are you even going?
I know.
In the daytime.
I know.
Like, literally going on your little tugboat, circling around, being like, maybe I'll discover India, and then coming back. Huh?
It's so stupid. It's genuinely like just crazy. And then he walks in, he does whatever. He is always like pushing boundaries, basically comes up to her and starts trying to grab her like tit in front of her grandmother that's sleeping in quotations. Okay. Like this is not making me think that this girl is a prude. What it's making me think is that you're a little bitch who doesn't have a brain. You just keep walking around just like being like, boob.
I agree, dude. This is like the most unsexy, sexy movie that was ever made. Like, Catherine thought she ate with this. And I'm just like, dude,
visually she did a little. Like, it's visually beautiful,
visually,
but...
Sure. But, like, at the same time, it's like, dude, like, I get this is supposed to be an erotica, but this is an erotic no. Like, I hated everything. It's like, I'm not going to be like, oh my god, they're so into each other, they can't hold back physically. When he's touching her in front of her grandma.
Yeah, like what's going on? And like it's so weird. It's like, like it's supposed to be an erotica, but it's an erotica.
Yeah.
Like it's just so disturbing. Like the entire time I'm just sitting there like, what are we doing? Like why are we here? How did we
It's
end up
literally
here?
it's more like an erotic caca because it's shit.
Oh my god, that was so good.
Because it's fucking shit.
Yeah. And then um after that, Villini like follows him basically. She's like really jealous that he has a wife now. And she waited 3 months before she went there. And the grandma is talking about it with the mother of that girl, right? And they're talking about it and they're like, Villini is a smart mistress. She knows that after 3 months, it really wouldn't be so new having a new wife. And I'm like, 3 months, really?
I know, it's like, that's literally nothing.
Okay, I guess.
That's
The new
crazy.
wife gets pregnant and he's so weird. I fucking hate whenever they show in movies. Oh, she's pregnant and then he like just presses on her stomach. Do you know when they go like this and they just like really, can you be gentle? Like what is wrong with you? Just pisses me off for some reason whenever people do that. I'm like, it's the same thing as like seeing someone like press on the belly button. It makes me want to jump off a cliff. I don't know
Yeah,
why. Like there's just
jumping.
something
Yeah.
about it. Like I don't care what kind of crazy shit you're showing in that movie. Just don't show anybody pressing on the belly button. I swear to God. Yeah, Villini is there. And that guy's like really happy about the fact that his wife is pregnant, whatever. Then he sees Villini and she's like basically being like, if you're not gonna be with me, I'm gonna jump. And he's like, no.
I'm gonna kill myself, essentially, is what she
Yeah,
says.
basically. And it's because he was like, why did you come here? Like, what the hell? And then he just starts like making out with her.
You're such a weak bitch.
We're just sitting there like, okay.
I was like reading some stuff about this, and I can't remember if the author said this or like the reviewer said this, but like the movie was supposed to be like a question about love and desire and like the the difference and the nuances of that. But I'm just like, dude, just be with her. Like you constantly cheat on everyone with her. It's like I don't get it anymore. But anyway,
Me
sorry, go on.
neither, me neither. So then they show them together at her place and it's like nighttime and his wife rode a horse to get there to like check through the window whether they're together or not or what's
She
going on.
suspects he's cheating on her.
Yeah. And for good reason, honestly, because the thing is, she was like on the horse before, and I think it was before she got pregnant, and he was in front of her, like galloping, and he galloped so fast, it was on purpose. He just left her behind, trying to like, catch up to him, and she was like screaming like Rhino, Rhino, whatever. If your guy is walking in front of you, like kind of like those videos where people are showing that their boyfriend is walking in front of them without waiting for them, like on vacations or whatever, drop
Mm-hmm.
that stupid ass.
Yep, 100 PZ. Agreed.
Sorry to say, but he's a dick.
Yep.
You might get offended right now that I tell you this because you don't want to hear it, but you need to hear it. Anyway, so as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, okay, so he's gonna cheat. Got it. And it was before Valini showed up. Anyway,
You just had the vibe.
yeah, I was just like, oh, okay, I know it
To
already.
be fair,
I mean,
throughout the whole
who
movie,
would think an opposite for that
yeah,
guy?
like to be fair, the whole movie, you have no hope for Rhino. He's a little bitch. Like you don't think he's gonna do any better. Like
Yeah, from the beginning, he just sucks.
yeah, he sucks from the beginning.
And
I
then,
totally
and
agree.
that's the moment that I told you about in the beginning where they were like having zigzag sex. Weird. I was just genuinely sitting there like, is that necessary? Is that pose really any better than a fucking missionary pose? Just tell me. Like, you remember it, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
what was that? Do
yeah.
you need to be, do you need to be connecting like crooked ass, old ass puzzles that were like sitting on the windowsill in a very damp city where they got like really mushy and weird and they don't fit anymore. Like that's what it looked like. You're just trying to fit shit together that doesn't fit anymore and you just trying to screw it back in somehow.
That's funny as fuck, dude.
Is it too descriptive?
That's hilarious. More than the sex position, the funniest thing for me was like how dead they both were.
No,
Well,
no, no,
mostly
no, 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 him.
he was like
He literally looked like he was asleep. Okay, he
like
wasn't.
he was like fully dead.
He was just like this, right? And she's
Yeah.
like, and she's half hanging off of the bed.
And she's like You guys, this actress, Asia, whatever her name is, has the gnarliest voice. Like, she was moaning like a lawnmower.
You're so real for that, actually.
Like,
That was too real. No, genuinely. And it was just like so weird.
Girl, the sex scenes in this movie made me wish I was a virgin. Like, it makes me want to take back my virginity. That's how bad it was. Literally erotic caca.
Erotic caca. Like, why do you need to do it this way? Why is she screaming and squirming and he's dead? Like, how is that?
It's not even like normal screaming, guys. She literally has a voice that's so, it's like guttural and vocal fry at the same time. Like, it literally sounds like, it's what I imagine Cronus's kids sounding like when he would swallow them up, like falling down his esophagus. Like, like what the fuck? Like, girl, why you built like that? Why your voice box built like that?
Like, you know what? We wouldn't make as much fun of her if it wouldn't be them, those two characters, first of all. And second of all, if he wouldn't be literally like this.
Yeah. I'm not trying to shit on just the girl. Like, Rhino sucks dick as well. I just can't
No,
say
he sucks a lot more, but it's just, you know what? It's so funny because, like, at least he could have pretended like cheating was worth it.
I know.
And the worst part is that, like, his wife saw this shit. She rode on a horse, right? And she got a miscarriage because of that. And all for him to be like this. What was it for? Was your passion that great?
Dude, if it were me and I was like pregnant with his child and watching him cheat on me and I just saw him limp dead like that, I'd be so mad. I'd be like, damn, you ain't even having passionate sex and you cheating on me, you motherfucker.
Like, it's kind of like, at this point, you're just like, I mean, even if you would have been cheating, just like regular cheating, whatever, it would be like, okay, you're a loser. But at this point, you're just embarrassing me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like,
can you get it together? Like, what the hell?
It's one thing to like hurt someone's feelings, but it's another thing to disrespect them. And that was both.
That was both.
The good things we can say about it is it was filmed beautifully. The costume design, fucking so sick. Mm-hmm. The makeup and hair that they did on Vini, like the heart strands, that was so sick.
Yeah. They killed it with like the visuals. I guess so the director did a good job. But it's at the same time, it's like, was it worth telling even?
Just take some photos, babes. And to be fair, we went to the Cinematique, which is like an indie theater.
Yeah.
In our city. This is what I'll say. Usually they serve drinks. Mm-hmm. We had to watch this fucking dry.
We had to raw dog this shit.
We had to raw dog this shit. And we've never raw dogged a movie at the Cinematique. And I wish we did for the other movies because they were good.
Yeah, we actually watched Tarkovsky. That was like, slapped. Like,
Stellaris, and that was fucking good. I did not need to drink for that. But this, I wish I was a little bit tipsy.
You know, it's strange because like, actually, you know what? I am very grateful that they do show, like, this was like, I think some kind of program of 2 weeks of showing this particular director or something. I'm really glad that they're showing different types of directors, that they showed this woman's work, that they're not just showing fucking something as lame as Kubrick over and over again, you know, like, at least they're real, you know, real indie and not bullshit that you know, Connor's like and Matthews like. Just like some proper art films, you know, but it's just, it doesn't mean that we need to like it.
Yeah.
We'll go and we'll support it and we'll see it so we could talk shit about it on the pod, you know?
Yeah. And there was like so many funny moments in this too. Like the grandma, her facial expressions just fucking cracked me up.
Give us 5 stars. Forgot to say. God damn it. At the very end where they're not going to listen to it anymore. Give us 5 stars.
If you finished it to the end, I love you.
Yeah, actually.
And you are amazing.
You're a real one.
Yeah, you're a real one.
Dude, it's the last episode of this season. Wow. Fine. You know what? I cut something out because I spoiled something and my assistant screamed at me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And I do accept that. I did scream at her. Because This is an
Because I'm spoiling a surprise or whatever.
Yeah, you're spoiling something that is truly an art form. It is a performance. It
Performance
itself
art.
is it's performance art. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Anyways, hope you enjoyed, and see you on the next episode.
And next season, season 3. Bye.
Bye.